Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Steve Ramona. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast. Steve Ramona. We're all about to talk on life. Our guest will share his life story. We want you to success in life. We're ready and we will start shortly. We're gonna talk on life. We're gonna talk on business. You're gonna shine bright. We are gonna witness. Business with a servant's heart. Welcome to the podcast. Business with a servant's heart. Listen to the podcast.
Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. Every episode is an invitation, a reminder that business and life isn't just about profit, it's about purpose. It's about showing up with a servant's heart in every deal and every decision, every day to make a powerful impact on others. Today's guest is going to light you up. You'll be motivated, you'll be challenged, and most importantly, you're going to walk away with tools that inspire action both in your life and the lives of others. Audience, here's your homework. How will you serve yourself and others today? Doesn't have to be a big impact. Even a small act of kindness or courage can change the game. So lean in, take notes. Shout out to my two sponsors, A Mind for All Seasons. Your brain is your greatest competitive edge, and it deserves to perform like one. Want to think faster, remember more, and stay focused longer? Just text the word optimize to 72000. Optimize to 72000 and get instant access to 6 short, powerful videos, each just 3 to 5 minutes, that reveals simple strategies to unlock peak mental performance. Because when your brain is clear, your business grows. And Epic Impact, the storytelling system that helps your message connect and convert, it's just 4 steps. Engage, persuade, inspire, close with clarity. I use it every day for all my messages. Try it free at epicimpact.ai with code STEVE. Change your messages, change your results. Excited to announce Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast was named top 6 in small business marketing. Thank you all of you, my guests and my audience. You've impacted so many people. Let's continue doing that. Fun. Welcome to Doing Business with a Servant's Heart podcast. I'm your host, Steve Ramona. I'm excited to have you on today because guess what? We're going to talk money. Money. Show Me the Money and Jerry Maguire. If you remember that movie, by the way, I had Lee Steinberg on my show. I just thought about that as a guest, but people talk about money like it's a religion, but they don't follow it. It's crazy. So let's jump into it because I love talking about money. Wendy, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's really a pleasure to be here. And I love what we were talking about before, and I'm really excited about what we're going to talk about right now. So yeah.
Me too. True wealth. That's a phrase I see in a lot of your stuff. What does it really mean?
Well, you know what? If you're a billionaire and you're lying in a sick bed dying of stage 4 cancer, you're not a wealthy man. You're just a sick guy with a lot of money. So true wealth is when you're wealthy physically, relationally, spiritually, mentally, physically, and of course, financially. I mean, I am the financial lion after all. So that's being truly wealthy in every area of life. And too often, people give up their health to gain wealth, and then they give up all their wealth to gain back their health. So we want to be balanced in all those areas and be thriving in all those areas to be truly wealthy, really wealthy. It's not always about the number of zeros in your bank account. It's your quality of life, how you show up in the world, who's around you, are you loved, are you cared for? All of those things go into being really wealthy.
I love that. And then we can take this, what you do is make sure that wealth is coming in a large amount. So because the more money you have and you're healthy, you can be healthier. I've seen that myself. Talk about how health and wealth go together to uplift.
Well, you know what? Health and wealth, and I talk about this in my book, health and wealth are your rock star duo, right? Because the wealthier you are, the better quality of food you can buy. We're the only country in the world where poor people are fat. And that's because why? We're living on processed foods. We're eating all this nonsense. And taking in all these toxins and poisons and all that stuff. And if you go to a store and you see, I'll make it up, a mozzarella, but then you have organic mozzarella. The regular mozzarella is probably $3. And for half the size, you're paying $6 for organic mozzarella. So if you do have that wealth, you can make better food choices because it's not always inexpensive to truly eat healthy and to eat, all organic or grass-fed beef and free-range chicken and all that kind of stuff. So having that
Great
wealth
example.
also helps to facilitate your health.
It's a great example. That's why that's a perfect example, because that's what a lot of people say. I eat mac and cheese because that's all I can afford. Well, mac
Yeah.
and cheese is not good for you. I know it's
Yeah.
cheap, but
Yes.
it's not going to make you healthy unless you're doing other things. Now, there's another phrase I saw: first step to heal your money story. What the heck is that about? Your heal your money story.
Well, I think, the first thing that we need to understand is money is made in the mind. So if you don't have your mindset right, you're not going to make money. If you go around with the mindset, I don't deserve it, millionaires are bad, oh my gosh, I can't stand billionaires, I think that they're all terrible and they don't have my best interest at heart, which makes some of them, I would agree. But if that's the mentality that you have, or I'm not good enough, or oh, I'll have to pay taxes, oh, everybody will leech off of me if I make a ton of money. That's where we have to heal the mind and get rid of that mindset and be like, no, you are good enough. You do deserve it. And even if you don't need multiple millions, well, there's plenty of people in the world that could use your help. People die of waterborne diseases every 20 seconds. A child is trafficked for sex every 30 seconds. There's people committing suicide left and right. I mean, the suicide rate has gone through the roof, especially with vets and so forth. There's 150,000 vets in America that can't put food on their table today. So take your money and use it for good. It doesn't mean you have to hoard it all or pay taxes on it all. Give it away. Give it away and make an impact in the world. Make the world a better place because you were in it.
Philanthropic is such a great thought, and people kind of lose sight of it. I'm not saying if you're poor to do it. If you can't do it, there's other ways besides giving money. I won't get into that. Let's jump into the book, as you mentioned it earlier. What's the name of the book, and what was the mission of the book?
So the book is called How to Live Like a Rock Star, Tour Bus Optional. You don't need a tour bus, you just need a plan. And the reason that I wrote it from a rock star point of view is because I wanted it to be fun. They did some studies years ago, and people said they'd rather have a root canal than meet with a financial professional. So I am a financial professional, and trust and believe, while others might have you snoring, the financial line will have you roaring. So I wanted to make it fun. I wanted to make it inviting. I didn't want it to be intimidating or some dry thing with 9,000 charts and your eyes are rolling over in the back of your head and it's like, oh my gosh, this is why I don't plan my money, or try to plan for my retirement because I just don't get it. So this book makes it very easy. And of course, the first chapter is all about mindset. So I use Bruce Springsteen as an example of a kid who had a dream. He was going to be on stage. And sure enough, and the other connection is he was on the cover of Time magazine in November of 1975. And there was a picture in that article with Bruce Springsteen, his road manager, Rick Segusa, who was a longtime family friend, and my brother, who changed his name to Mo Jackson, all on the tour bus riding to the next gig. So I just had that 1 degree of separation from Bruce Springsteen. I thought this would be the perfect example because he's a great example of, he started with his mom was renting a guitar for $6 a week, and here he is, he grows up to be the boss and he's jumping around on stage. And my sister has gone to his concerts and stuff. She was like, best concert ever. He has so much energy. He played for like 3 hours straight. And that's the kind of rock star we want to be when we show up in life. We want to claim our stage. We want to turn up the volume. We want to live bold, and we want to leave ordinary behind.
Impact. That's what your money can do, and that's what he did with his music. I don't go to many concerts, but I did go see Bruce Springsteen. I did see the movie too. I don't know how close it was, but I liked the movie. Shout out to the movie. I forget the actor's name. It was really good. So let's jump into mindset again. So let's give you a scenario. Joe Smith comes to see you. and you see the mindset is just way off whack when it comes to money. How do you help with that?
Well, you know what? It's not sometimes that I see it right off the bat.
Mhm.
Sometimes it happens when I've handed you an amazing future. I routinely turn my clients into millionaires, ordinary people that don't have a lot to start with. And when I show them what their future can be, they're like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that was possible. Well, sometimes, and this has happened twice, where I hand them this amazing future. You're going to turn this small amount into multiple, multiple millions and income you can never outlive. Like you never have to do another thing. Your future's secure, no matter what. And they're not going, well, where do I sign? And they're, oh, well, I have, and it's like people would give their eye teeth to have this future. Oh my gosh, like what is wrong? And that's where I go, okay, what else is going on? What's your mindset? Oh, there's people in your family that don't want you to invest in your future. They want you to invest in their business. Oh, that's what's going on. So that's where the mindset comes in. They don't necessarily show up with fear or trepidation or I'm not worthy. At least they're taking the first step like, I saw you. I like your energy. That's usually how it starts. I like your energy. I thought, oh, let me get on her calendar, blah, blah, blah. And then we meet. And when I meet with clients, I'm not, I've met with advisors years ago that you have to bring in, 3 years of tax returns, all your statements, blah, 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 your pay, all this stuff. And luckily I'm extremely organized. So I got all that together in, maybe an hour or something. But then when we met, they said, oh, well, you don't have, $5 million in your bank account or in your investment account, so we can't work with you. And I was just like, well, that's, how many hours in my life that I'll never get back. So
Yeah.
why didn't you tell me that to begin with? Hello.
Yeah.
So when I meet with people, it's just like, what's keeping you up at night? What's your biggest challenge? What's your biggest fear about the future? Are you afraid of running out of money? Are you afraid you won't be able to plan for your kids' college? That's where we start. It's just like, where are you at? What are your needs? And some people are, they like to play their cards close to their chest. So they'll just be like, well, I have this. Well, I have this, and we can go at that pace. That's fine. I mean, it's better if I can see it all so I can take a holistic view
Yeah.
and make sure that all of your financial pieces are working together to give you the most bang for your buck. But I'm not going to, rip information out of you if you're not comfortable giving that to me yet.
Yeah.
So we go at the client's pace.
So you may turn people to millionaires. I'm sure you got great stories. You got a story or two you can share with us that you turn people into millionaires or what happened?
Oh yeah, I can tell you. Well, I have a client that I'm working with, and she had some money sitting in it in a retirement account, and I have what would I say, um, an option to where she could invest this money into a financial vehicle that's going to grow it exponentially, and then we'll take that growth and we'll put it in another financial vehicle, and now she'll pull out over 4.3 million in income, starting with under 40,000. I turned two little kids. Now, I was widowed. We haven't talked about this, but I was widowed when I was young. My husband died in a motorcycle accident when he was only 24. Nobody wakes up and thinks I'm going to die today, right? So we had two little girls, just 1 and 3, and a whopping $20,000 of life insurance. Now, I was a single mom. There was never any cushion. There was more month than money most of the time. In fact, I remember, so I put on my big girl underwear. I went back to college, became a legal secretary. And I distinctly remember one day they had gone back on vacation to see their grandparents on their dad's side. And I distinctly remember picking them up from the airport because all I did while they were gone was I just worked, worked, worked. So I worked overtime, overtime, overtime. And I remember picking them up from the airport and going, guess what? I paid all the bills and there's still money left over. Wow.
Game changer.
Well, I had a client of mine and I've planned her retirement and so forth and worked with other members of her family. And her son passed away, left behind two little girls, 2 and 6 years old. And she had $10,000 for each of them. And she said, what can you do with this? So I tried a number of traditional methods and I just wasn't getting any like wow, because I really want a wow result, not just, oh, this will be better. I really want to wow my clients. And so I thought out of the box and I put them into a financial vehicle. And the 2-year-old, throughout the course of their life, this isn't tomorrow, but throughout the course of her life, that 10,000 grows into $2.3 billion. And for the 6-year-old, and this shows you what just a 4-year time difference makes, for the 6-year-old, it grows into $2.1 billion. So 2 million less just because of 4-year difference in age. But yeah, so that happened.
That's
And
pretty
grandma was
powerful.
like, well, what the heck?
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a
Now
big
she's
change.
still happy because grandma is in charge of these
Yeah,
vehicles. So if she
right.
needs, but it's awesome because if she needs to pull money out for them throughout their life, she has the total ability to do that.
Yeah,
But then, of course, I'm thinking if I had known then what I know now, look what our lives could have been like. Like, holy
yeah.
moly. So, and that's why you want to meet with someone like me because you don't know what you don't know. And how are
I
you going
say
to
it
find
all
out
the
what
time.
you don't know unless you talk to somebody that's in the know, right?
Exact. That's the answer to don't know, don't know.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that I talk to people about money is they're afraid of taxes. Oh, I become a millionaire. Oh my God, I got to pay all these taxes. How do you help in that avenue?
Oh, I've got tax-free strategies, my dear. In
Okay.
fact, well, I'll tell you something that people might be surprised at, but Warren Buffett owns 37 of these, and he's a pretty smart guy.
Yeah.
And this is what the wealthy do. They put their money into permanent life insurance. Why? Because that and a Roth IRA and maybe some government bonds are the only ways to grow your money tax free. Well, if you're making three, four, $500,000 a year, putting 5,500 a month in a Roth or 5,500 a year in a Roth isn't going to get you there. There's just no way. The government limits you. And so many wealthy people were doing this that back in, I want to say, don't quote me on this, 1982 or something like that, the IRS got a whiff of it and said, you're all putting your money into permanent life insurance, and the tax man's not getting his slice of the pie. So they put up some parameters that said if you overstuff this policy with too much cash, we're going to call it a modified endowment contract, and then you'll have to pay taxes on it. So we just it's a simple click of a mouse, to make sure that it's called a MEC, that the policy doesn't MEC. But here's the beauty of permanent life insurance is you can decide, I want to put 100,000 a year in. I want to put 200,000 a year in, whatever it might be. Where unlike a Roth where you're limited to 5,500, and then as you get older, you get a catch up and you can put in 6,500 a year. That those figures aren't going to get you to hundreds of thousands of dollars in income,
Yeah.
especially tax-free income.
Yeah, that's powerful. Well, the other
Mhm.
side of all this, tax, we covered mindset. The third and most important one is risk. That's the other
Well,
fear. I've
yeah,
made this money. I've worked 10 years, Wendy. I built $100,000. You want to take it? I'm worried about losing it.
I don't put my clients into anything where they can lose money. Period. End of story. I have sat with my client at one of the big box, financial places and had them go, well, your portfolio dropped by 20%, but you're in good stuff. So you should recover this in, a matter of years. And I'm like, stop the bleeding. Let's put, so actually that client that had that happen, he had just put another 10 grand into his IRA, and it all went up in smoke in 1 year. And of course, he's thinking, you know what I could have done with 10 grand? If I was going to light it on fire, I would have bought a couple dirt bikes. I could have done, I could have gone here, there, whatever. And I said, well, let's just stop the bleeding. We took that, simply moved it to a different financial vehicle where he cannot lose any money. And he got a 25% bonus just for signing on the dotted line. And that 50,000 is going to turn into over $1 million in income. So
What's a tough? Yeah,
yeah, I never want to sit across the desk with my client or across a screen like this and say, oh, I'm sorry, but your portfolio just lost 38%. Or,
yeah,
like in 2008,
yeah.
38% was common. I have people that I know that had their money in a 401k, they lost 50%. It just depends where it was allocated, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm never going
So,
to have that conversation with a client.
and the other thing I hear, because I talk to entrepreneurs all the time, helping with their business, is time frame. What kind of time frames do you work with when somebody says, okay, I want to work with you, turn my 39,000 into 3 million? Am I looking at 2 years, 20 years? I know every vehicle is different, but what's the
Yeah.
average when you could turn people to millionaires?
I would say probably 5 to 10 years or less. It depends what they're starting
Yeah.
with. $39,000 client, it's going to take about a year, and then she has a significant amount of money, 975,000. Then we put that into a vehicle with a 30% bonus on top of it, and then it cooks for 10 years, and she'll pull out 4.3. But she has access to that money. I also don't put money into places where you can't access it, because life throws you curveballs. I am the queen of life throwing a curveball at you. Okay. My current husband now, we both lost our incomes on the same day, not once, but twice. So if we could come back from that and plan a secure future where our income and retirement will be even higher than it is now, because there's things called taxes and inflation and curveballs and unexpected life events and that kind of thing, planned obsolescence, etc. If I could do that coming back from nothing, imagine what you could do starting with something, right?
Yeah, the Palisades fire reminds me of all this, all that
Yeah.
money people lost. And
Oh my gosh.
I had a guest on my show that's recovering from that. She lost everything. And, I love that you said that people can recover. We're coming to
Yes.
the end here. What's one piece of advice you'd give people listening? You proved that you could make some money. You've helped people make money, but what's one general thing you would tell them to grow their money?
Start.
Oh,
Just start. That is the basic thing. It doesn't matter if I could turn you into a multimillionaire if you don't meet with me. If you don't take the
no.
first move and go, you know what, I'm going to do something about that today. And, I want to give people hope too, because there's a lot of people really struggling right now with the economy, and they're drowning in credit card debt and they're drowning in mortgage debt and all of that. And so I added another quiver to my, or arrow to my quiver, if you will. And I can get people out of debt in record time without you having to live on rice and beans and, giving up every latte you've ever wanted to buy. Record time. I mean, people that would have been in debt for another 25 years will be completely debt free, mortgage, credit cards, and all in like 4.5. Like, it's awesome. You should see the way my clients' faces light up. It's just like,
I
what?
bet.
That's my future. Oh my gosh. So if that's you, and I wanted to address that for people, because if you're just trying to get through the month, you're not thinking 5, 10, 20 years down the road. You're not thinking about, oh, what am I going to do for my retirement? What kind of legacy am I going to leave? Oh, my kids need college funding. You're not thinking about any of that stuff. You're just like, I'm just trying to get through to my next paycheck. So there is relief. There are ways, and it's not debt relief. It's not debt consolidation. It's none of that stuff.
Beautiful.
So there are ways, but you'll never know what they are unless you get on my calendar. It's right above my head.
There you go.
So, I always say it's in all my emails and everything else. Life doesn't come with a remote control. You have to get up and change it yourself. And there is no time like today to do exactly that.
That's a great way to end the show. And a quick tip for kids. What's your advice for kids?
Oh, start right now. Start right now.
Start saving. Okay.
Start saving right now. Even if you're 20, if you're only 20 years old and you saved $13 a month, just $13 a month, you'll be a millionaire by age 67. So it doesn't take a lot, but the younger you start, the more wealth you will have. Trust and believe. So yeah,
And I
start.
agree with
Parents,
you.
get your kids saving today.
Yeah, I agree with you 1,000,000% because when I was
Yes.
18 years old, I met a gentleman. We owned health clubs and I worked the front desk. He threw me a book. The Wealthy Barber basically said save 10% of your money. I didn't touch it. At 28, I looked at it 10 years later, there was $68,000. And I was making $3 an hour. Remember, this is 1970. Well, remember, this is 1978, 79, 80. I was making $3 an hour. But take that $100, that $50,
Yeah.
and and by the way, audience, when she says cooking, that's compounding, meaning it's going to grow itself. I do the cooking. I learned that from her. I love that
Yes,
phrase
thank you for
because that's where it's still in
clarifying
its cooking. And it just means your money's going to grow, compound. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Well, let's end with a fun little improv. We talked business. You showed us some great things. God bless you. I've got a table at a restaurant. Me and you're going to sit at this table. Who would you invite, whether dead or alive, It's somebody that you always wanted to, either was your mentor that influenced you in your life, or you've seen from afar. But more importantly, what food would you order for the 5 people at the table?
Well, I'm a lobster nut. I love lobster. So I would definitely order some lobster and filet,
Beautiful.
possibly some Brussels sprouts and a nice salad and maybe some cheesecake for dessert or creme brulee, something like that. Or what's the dessert where they light it on fire?
Creme brulee.
Is that creme brulee?
Yeah, it makes it
Okay.
hard at the top. Yeah, you're right on.
Yeah. But there's also a fruit dessert where they used to do it at a restaurant. They would pour like a liqueur down an orange peel and it would be flaming. Oh, Cherry's Jubilee. That's what I'm thinking of. Cherry's Jubilee.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yes.
That I've never
Yes.
seen. I'll have to look at that.
Yes. Oh, it's really entertaining. It's very, very fun. And then who would I have? There's a number of people that I can think of, but someone that I've always wanted to meet because of all the struggles he went through is King David. King David.
Good one.
And I love the Psalms because he goes through some heartache and he doesn't, he just pours it all right out there. But he was chased around by King Saul for what, 10 years in the wilderness? But that's how he became so mighty in battle as a king because he knew the land like the back of his hand. So he's a perfect example of just when you think everything you're going through is for nothing, that there is a plan, there is a reason for it. And you'll
Yeah,
find
I love
out.
it.
If it hasn't worked out, somebody once said, everything works out in the end. If it hasn't worked out yet, it's not the end.
I love that. Well, that's a great way to end the show. And God, thank you for being such a great guest, taking the time to entertain and educate our audience, motivate them. How can they reach out and connect with you? I know we have the calendar above. Any other ways they can connect with you?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn, you can find me on Facebook, and you can go to my website. There's plenty of videos. You can read all about me if you're like, well, I want to know who the heck you are before I book on your calendar. Just go to thefinanciallion.com and you can learn all about me.
Beautiful. Thank you again. And audience, subscribe to the YouTube channel. And here's a perfect reason. I think these are gifts. And why? Because you're listening to Wendy and you're going, my friend is struggling with finances. Have them listen to Wendy for 15 minutes. And she books a calendar appointment and she meets with her and she becomes one of those millionaires. Didn't you just give them a gift? I would do that. And if it's not my podcast, any other podcast that resonates with you, what a great way to change the world by helping people with these wonderful gifts of podcast. With that being said, me and Wendy want to thank all of you for watching and listening to this podcast. And we'll see you all in the next episode of Doing Business with a Servant's Heart. Have an awesome day, everyone. Take care.
Thank you.